hello. I'm going to take a quick moment here to make sure I let everyone in our private Facebook group know that we are live. So give me one moment. But while I'm doing this, if you are watching live, go ahead and tell me hello. I was already chit chatting with Instagram, letting them know that today is not a perfect day, amen. But we're gonna get through it. Um, I was letting them know that. Hold on, let me make sure I spelled that right. I think so, guys. Bear with me if if it's not spelled correctly. We're gonna just get it going with regardless. But I was explaining to them that I own this company, right? I can choose what I do and what I don't do. And one thing that I love doing is these Monday night live talks. But things do happen, in real life. I'm gonna get a little drink here. And one of the things that happened today was I ended up having to go to the eye doctor. I live with chronic illness, and it wasn't a great visit. It wasn't a great visit. I am really struggling to see. No lie. If you put a comment, please do, guys. You can comment. I just will probably not see them until after. I will go back and reply just because I'll have to zoom in. And if you see me looking different directions today, it's because I had to move screen so I could see my notes. But anywho, I went to the doctor today. Wasn't a great eye day. Long story short, we're still going to do this Monday Night Live with whatever vision that we have. And my reason I was telling Instagram was the fact that I don't like to let circumstances and excuses deter me from my mission, right? My calling, my passion in life. I don't want that to ever be the case. I'm not saying that things don't happen where it's like, okay, well, we're going to have to move some things around. But for the most part, I really try to stay the course. And the reason for that is manyfold. But one of the most important things that I find helps me is kind of maintaining consistency. It was very hard for me to commit to doing Mondays at 6 p.m. Some people that may not be hard for them. I know for my clients, a lot of them, it is tough to be like, okay, I'm going to stick to the schedule no matter what. So many things have tried to kind of get in the way. I've had, and actually, it's not a negative thing, but it's just like my son has Boy Scouts on Mondays. There have been things that I've been invited to on Mondays, and I'm like, hey, I have this thing that I do every Monday, so I'm not going to do it. And so for me, I like to stick to the things that I'm doing consistently because if not, I feel like I am having to relearn that habit, right? It takes 21 days to build a habit. I don't want to have to start over at day one rebuilding that habit. I want to keep consistent. And so typically come hell or high water, I'm gonna stick to my Monday night lives. And I keep telling y'all I have not missed one. Not have missed one. Fingers crossed that I don't have to ever because I think we're almost at a year of doing these, and I just find that it's okay. And I even was telling Instagram like things don't always have to look perfect. I don't even know where I'm looking right now. I think I'm where I'm supposed to be, but things don't always have to look perfect. I was actually working with my assistant earlier today. She was helping me get through some things for a client. And we were kind of shortlisting for one of our clients for an event she has coming up. So we're looking at potential speakers for her event. And during the our research of kind of looking into these individuals' past speaking engagements and things they've appeared in and features, we came across one potential speaker, and she was featured on, it looks like a it was like a live on social media, something like that, like a podcast situation. And the host literally was trying to get everybody in, start the vibe, and literally it looked like maybe her husband or some gentleman like crawls across the bottom of the screen, obviously to go get something or what have you. And my sister was like, oh my goodness. And I was like, no, I'm happy she just kept going because things are going to happen, guys. You may not have a condition that causes you to have eyesight loss or chronic fatigue and all the fun things that I get to deal with. However, everybody has their thing. I always say everybody has their cross to bear. Everybody has their thing. And those things are going to pop up. But I don't want you guys to let that deter you from what you're trying to do in your business. Right. And everybody, I get it. Life is going to life. And if you've heard it from me once, you'll hear it from me 1,000 times. I get it. But we have to really have some discernment about what we want to do with our business and where we want to go. And if at all possible, if we can stay the course, we really should. All right, I'm gonna get off my soapbox because we're gonna get started. Because this is a cool topic, and plus we need to get in and get out. I'm not gonna hold you today because your girl is a struggling. All right, but today we're talking about. Oh, and I should even hold up. Pause. Hello. I'm Corey Fonville Foster. I'm the CEO of iRock Marketable Business Solutions. On top of being a speaker, a trainer, and a certified business coach, we host these Monday Night Lives every single Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I always say if you want to catch us, definitely join our private Facebook community because outside of that, you got to kind of just hope, cross your fingers that we're going to be streaming on your favorite platform. But today we are on. Gotta look. We're on LinkedIn, we're in Facebook, and we're in our private community, and we're on Instagram. So shout out to you guys who are watching live or watching the replay. We love to have you here. I do encourage you if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, go ahead and put it in the comment section because we are here to help. At iRock, we are all about supporting coaches and consultants as they start, run, and scale their coaching and consulting businesses. And we do that keeping your budget in mind. So today's topic for our Monday Night Live is all about cultivating connections. And I know we gave it like a spiffy title, something about harvest or something, but I don't see it in front of me. So the jit is cultivating connections. This is going to be so important, especially for you all who are, sorry, my chair's hitting things. Those of you who are on tight budgets. And I talk about this all the time. A lot of you feel like you can't grow your business or really start making some decent money in your business because you're afraid that you can't get in front of your ideal clients. That isn't true. There are so many free slash low cost opportunities that you can take advantage of that can get you in front of your potential base. You just have to be ready to do the work to get there. And one way to do that is through building connections, not just with your clientele, right? Because sometimes you don't even know where those people are or how to get, in front of them. But you have to realize that they are in front of somebody, right? A lot of people have already captured the eye of your target audience. How do you leverage those individual networks and then make it part of your network? So we're going to kind of talk about that today. And hey, if you're watching, definitely tell me hello because I can see people pop up, and I will, like I said, be answering any questions that come to any of our platforms after it's over. I'll go back because I can zoom in the screen and I can answer questions. But anywho, let's talk about the fact that as we think about building connections, we really need to have a diverse plan to do so. Right? Some of you have only been focused on getting on podcasts. Some of you have only been focused on getting on live stages. Some of you have only focused on getting on virtual stages. Some of you have only leveraged your college connections. We need to, as we plan for especially 2024, we need to think, how can we have a diverse strategy, right? A diverse plan in place to truly network to get in front of the individuals we want to get in front of. And I'll admit, I was really shocked with myself because recently I was prepping. I've been in prep season for our planning season for iRock, and I went back and tried to find my last business plan. And when I tell you it's at 2020, I was flabbergasted with myself. Now I will say I've updated it a little here and there, but I've not done a full deep dive into my business plan. And so I sat for a couple of hours the other day and worked on it. And one of the areas where I realized there was the biggest need for writing it down. It's not that we weren't doing it, but really putting it on paper and having that streamlined process was in our strategic networking area. Because I had said at the beginning of the year, if you've been following me, one of our C words for the year was collaboration. And we were going to make some strong connections with individuals and build out our network. And as you've seen, if you've been following us, especially when it comes to our expert speakers, we've done just that. But I think that we could have done even better, right? I'm going to be transparent. We could have done even better if I would have put that into our business plan and said, hey, one of our goals is going to be connection and diversifying our networking strategies. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to measure it. This is how we are going to leverage it. Because I think some of you may be saying what you're going to do and then you stop there, but that's not how it should be, right? We say, okay, this is the goal, right? This is the goal we have. Now, how are we going to obtain that goal? We're going to do these things. Well, that's cool. But then how are we going to measure the success of those things? Because you can say, okay, I want to build my network. All right, that's the goal. I want to build my network. All right, I'm going to do that through strategic networking. Sounds great. How do we measure the progress of that strategic networking? Right? It should be okay, I'm going to get featured in this many podcasts. I'm going to get on this many virtual stages, this many in person stages. I'm going to be featured and do blog posts for these different organizations. I'm going to get featured in this many newspapers, whatever the case may be, so that you stay on target. And then you're going to say, okay, I'm going to offer these things to those individuals to then leverage them to join me. Because it's one thing to appear in front of folk, that's great. You've gotten that step, but then how do you change that person who's let you onto their platform into your own network of individuals that you can then market to and connect with? So there's a process, and I think some of you are missing elements within that process, and that's kind of what we're going to dive deep into tonight. Just the idea of that strategic networking, that diversifying your strategy, and then fostering those connections for professional growth, but also for personal growth, because not everyone you're going to connect with is going to be to help you get in front of your target audience. Some of those individuals are going to be there to give you information. One of the coolest things that popped up and kind of fell in my lap this year was I reconnected with a potential client through the fact that we share a coach, and then come to find out her husband runs amazing ads. And if you know anything about iRock, that's the one thing we don't do is we don't run ads for people. Why? Because most of our clientele just can't afford ads. We have been growing for some time now, and one thing we want to run more, especially in 2024, are ads. And so because of that connection, right, with my client, her husband is willing to sit with me and work on that. I don't have to go and roll the dice with somebody who says they can do ads. Like, I've seen the proof in their ads working with them and their team. And so that's just through building connection, right? Those are some opportunities that you guys could also leverage as well. So, like I said, don't be afraid and just say, okay, if they're not about business or they're not going to help me with business, get in front of my audience, I don't want nothing, to do with them. It's not just about that. It's also about your personal growth, you learning. I had a good friend who was really great at Canva back before everybody was using Canva. And I was like, hey, can you have coffee with me? Can we sit and can you show me this thing? And when I tell you, that was a game changer for me. And I don't even remember who told me about Chat GPT before it was real popping. But I was like, wow, I just had another meeting where one of my clients actually mentioned some AI tools she used. And again, I'm about affordable strategies. One of my clients, actually a few of my clients that I've had over the past few years, have not had the funds to get professional photos done. Like, that's when I say affordable strategies, like, people are like, yo, I know I need pictures, but they sending me pictures of them in a car with the strap across them. Like, I can't really use those to market you as this amazing coach. And so I was really excited because in our consulting conversation that I had with this client, we were talking about just her strategies and what she wanted to use. She had mentioned she came across this AI that made professional looking photos. And I have heard about these, but a lot of them, when I go and look at ratings and what people are saying, are like, oh, this is trash. It didn't work, or it cost, they gave you like two and then it cost a whole bunch. And she showed me what her pictures looked like. And she was like, oh, yeah, it was free. I got this many using the trial. And I was like, bet. Now I can utilize that personal growth information to tell you guys about it and be like, okay, here's some AI tools that are actually free, or this is how you can use them to get what you need. Now, it doesn't replace eventually going to get a professional photo shoot with a photographer, but for those of you saying, okay, I can pay X amount of dollars to go get a photo done, or I can pay some money to get my website done. Guess what? You can go get that website done and still have some professional photos up there. For the meantime, using that AI tool, and so that's again leveraging those connections. It's not always about get me in front of my target audience. It's like, okay, you may know some information that supports what I'm trying to do over here, and I may have some information that supports what you're doing over there. Okay, so that's what we need to kind of change our mindset around. And we talked, I believe it was last week, about having that kind of resilience and that growth mindset. And it's really just so pertinent to your growth as a business owner. So let's talk a little bit about some of the connections and collaborations you can have. And I mentioned some already, but you don't have to pay for connections, guys, all the time. However, sometimes you do need to be willing to invest to get in the room. What does that mean? Say, for instance, in your local area, there is an entrepreneur's networking brunch, right? You got to pay a couple dollars to get in. Look at your budget for marketing and networking. Again, if it was in your business plan, you would know what those numbers are, and go ahead. And if it's feasible, go to those events, because you might be like, I'm not going to pay to be networking. Sometimes you got to pay to get in the room where it happens. Oftentimes, I'll just be honest. I will pay for VIP or something just to get around people who I know are willing to spend a couple of dollars, because those are usually the people who are more, for lack of a better word, more serious about business. They're not trying to play with people who are dabbling in and out and thinking maybe they might start. These are people like, okay, I want to get in here with the people that are, shucking and jiving and, getting things done. So don't be afraid, like I said, to invest. Have a budget in mind so that you're not spending your rent, your mortgage money, that light bill money, but you may have to invest to get in the rooms. I would not pay to necessarily get on somebody's platform unless it was going to be an amazing opportunity. So what do I mean by that? I always say I'm not going to pay to get on a podcast. However, now if one of the humongous podcasts hit me up, or like radio, like if the Breakfast Club was like, "Hey Corey, we want you, but you got to pay $1,000 to be featured," I don't care if it's a 5-minute stint. Get me up there. Let me write this check. But if Jimmy Joe, nobody, not a big name wants me to be on the podcast, no, I'm not going to pay to be featured, because there's just too many other opportunities where they are free. And I realize that while I may get some leads from Jimmy and his amazing podcast, it's not necessary for me to pay for that. So just keep that in mind. Same thing with people like to get featured on books. I'm not going to pay to get featured in somebody else's book. I'm not. You can choose again where you draw the line in the sand, but I don't mind being a contributor to anything. I've contributed to individuals' blogs and things like that. I don't mind not getting paid to be a featured person, but what I'm not going to do is pay for certain types of things. Again, if I don't have a direct ROI for it, then it's not going to be worth it, because I know that me coming on adds value. So I know the person that I'm supporting is going to get value, but it doesn't mean that I have to spend money on it. So I hope that kind of clears up like when to and when not to spend. You really have to have that your own discernment, because some of you are in different places. Maybe some of you have never had a speaking engagement before, right? Never, never, never. You want to do it because it'll help you with your coaching business, and maybe some opportunities come up and they're like, well, you got to invest to get on this, to get in here, because you're not a big name, you don't have a big email list. Well, I say if it's in your budget, maybe do 2 or 3 of those and never do it again. You know what I mean? It's okay, because you need to have a few under your belt to show that you're out here doing things, because once you have a few, then you can again leverage those for bigger, better connections and bigger opportunities and get in front of your target audience. So some of this you have to take and understand that there's no definite yes and no about investing, but you do have to look at what is your budget, what is the ROI? So, what is that return on investment? And where are you in your business journey? Because some of you are very far. Some of you speak all the time. People are seeking you out. You're not even having to pitch yourself and apply. And if that is the case, obviously you aren't paying nobody to be on their be a speaker at their event. You would be taking a check home. But again, if you're a newer person, you may have to look and see what opportunities you might have to take advantage of and possibly invest in. But again, don't do these things just to do it. Do it as part of your plan and understand how you're going to leverage it. Because I told you guys before, I'm about getting my money back. I'm gonna make my money back, right? So if that is the case, okay, I'm gonna pay this $100 to speak at this event that my target audience is gonna be at. But as part of that, they're gonna feature me in their podcast. So I'm gonna make sure I show up and show out for the podcast and give out a freebie. I'm gonna ask the organizer of the event if I can put something in the swag bag, or maybe have an additional Q&A session where I offer something free, because you're trying to get these people on your email list. You're trying to get them to know, like, and trust you and convert them over to your clients, right? And so maybe you're going to even they're going to give you access to the Facebook group for the event, right? You're going to go in there before, during, and after the event, and be sending private DMs to each attendee saying, hey, so excited that you're going to be coming. This is my session. This is when it is. If you got any questions about this topic, send them my way. I'd love to chat more with you. Like, you are going to work your butt off for that $100, and that is going to convert. Because think about it, as a coach or consultant, if you convert one person from that event, you paid $100, and then you sell them a $5,000 coaching program, you have made way more on your investment. But a lot of people, especially newer people, when they get into the business, they just are excited about the opportunity, and they don't have that strategic plan on how they're going to get that ROI on the end. And I keep saying why, ROI. Sorry. So again, just keep in mind the different platforms. So of course we have radio, we have magazine, we have books, we have events, virtual and physical. And the list goes on and on. There are I'm featured on a few people's courses. I'm a featured talk at a few people's masterminds. Um, I also connect with some of my vendors. So my photographer, my makeup artist, my videographer, they send me people. I send them people as well. So all of those things are in play, and those are things that are constantly in play as well. These networking opportunities. You can even leverage your current clients through referrals and affiliates to also send you leads because they're part of your network, right? Your network is your net worth. If you have a small network, and I don't mean just your email list, but a small group of people who know what you do and you talk to and share information with, then you're really not serving yourself well. You want to expand your network far and wide over a variety of platforms and expertise, because then you are able to cast the bigger net for yourself. All right, so let's see what else we got. I told you guys we're gonna get in and get out. And again, if you have any questions, if you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, definitely go ahead and throw in the comments, because I want to make sure that you get your questions answered. All right. All right, so something I didn't talk about, but I definitely want to kind of emphasize is some of the connections that you guys are going to make as part of your strategic plan for networking are not going to happen overnight. Some things you do are going to take time. So, as you make your initial connections with individuals, make sure that you're not just being like, oh, I talked to them once. They didn't talk to me no more. Like, we're done. Oh, okay, that failed. You're losing opportunity to have and cultivate long-term connections. You want to obviously you're not going to make connections with each and every person that you interact with, but the individuals where you see a potential to collaborate, to network, to leverage what each other has, you want to make sure that you keep in contact. So again, you got to do a little work on your part. Maybe put together a spreadsheet. Maybe invite them to things that you're doing. Give them opportunities to speak on your platform. Make sure you're asking them lots of questions about what they're doing, what programs they have coming out. How could you possibly be of service? Because you want to have people that are in your corner for the long term. So I'll give you a real life example. Again, the beginning of 2023 or the end of 2022, we decided one of our biggest pushes was going to be in collaborations and connections this year. We decided that we were going to host, we are going to have our podcast would be one way we would strategically get new people into our network. And then we were going to have the expert speaker series, right? That's on top of me doing a lot more traveling, meeting people, getting in Facebook groups, really pushing this our private Facebook community and things like that. So we said we were going to do that. And what we did was we actually put together spreadsheets and we have people's information. And so next year, right, all the people that did these master classes this year were invited to next year be featured as some of our experts, so that when you guys come to me, right, because I have my own network of people, when you guys come to me and say, hey, I need a copywriter, you can go and see my approved list of experts, right? And in turn, some of them have put me as experts on their websites and things. So instead of me having to do the work of being like, hey, can you remind your people that I exist? Now, when they go to their websites or they go to their programs, they see me, they have my contact information, and they can utilize me as an expert. I'm actually already featured You can actually check that out right now if you are a small business coach or consultant, especially if you're looking for tax services. You can actually go to the network, and that's sponsored by Honey Consulting, and I'm actually featured as one of their experts up there as well. So that is part of our process. We actually have a spreadsheet where we can see who we worked with, what's their area of expertise, and now we can easily let you guys know who to trust. Because if you've already been out here in this entrepreneur world for a while, you know there's some good people, and there's some people that's out here taking money and running. And so every person that I recommend, I want to know that they are about their business. And so that's what our list of experts is like. So again, we're kind of leveraging it even more every year. Um, so those are some things you can think about. So first, go to that business plan, right? Figure out what is your strategic networking and connection plan. That's going to be step one because we're going to recap real quick and I'm going to let you go. So you're going to go to the business plan, put together your diverse strategic plan for connecting and networking. You're going to figure out what your goals are and when it comes to networking and building these relationships. You're going to figure out how are you going to do these things, right? What is it going to take? How many pitches are you going to do for podcasts? You really want to get as detailed as possible where there's no room for confusion. And because especially when you guys get to the point where you have teams and people supporting you, assistants, they can then look at your business plan and support you that way versus you telling them, oh, go do this thing. They can say, okay, this is what I know we're trying to do. I can help my CEO in these ways. So write down as detailed as you can. How are you going to track your progress? How are you going to do, get these goals achieved? When are you going to come back and revisit it and make adjustments as necessary? And then what are you going to do with these connections once you have them? And again, you're going to make sure they're diverse. You don't want to just be featured in podcasts. You don't want to just be featured in magazines. You don't want to just be speaking in front of crowds. Okay. And then once you do that, actually follow the plan you set. Check back with it often. And then the coolest part is that next year, whenever you hit all those goals is, you can come back and figure out how to then increase the leverage, right? Leverage what you built even more to your audience, to your personal and professional growth. And then just keep rinse and repeat. So that eventually you have built up this amazing community. You have added in these amazing individuals to support you. You've built real, true, strong relationships, and you're able to help each other. Because while I want to be successful, right? I don't even say want. I know I'm going to be successful because I already am in business. I also know that I would love for people that I am inspired by and motivated by to do the same. And so we don't want to go into this idea of networking and with a competitive mindset. We want to say, I really like what Joey's doing over there. I want Joey to be successful. What can I do to support Joey? And hopefully, in turn, Joey's like, oh my gosh, I like what Corey's doing over there. How can I support Corey? What can I do? And how can I help them leverage what they have going on? And then guess what? We all rise, right? Which is the goal. There's room for all of us. We can all do amazing things. And the more of us that are successful, the more people we can help. All right. So with that being said, that is our talk for today. Yes, we made it through. Remember, every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have our Monday night lives. Every third Friday in the month at 8 p.m., we have our Q&A networking call. So you can definitely network. It's on Zoom. And guys, I always tell you those networking like party sessions are not about me. I want you guys to come and share what you do, who you help, and what you need from us, so that we can support you and make those real connections. Um, I'm not sure if we have, I don't think we have an expert speaker class coming up, but I'll be sure to let you guys know when they do. And I'll throw this out there. If you think you have something that my audience needs, right? Coaches and consultants starting, running, and scaling to six figures on a budget. If you have something that you think you can offer our community, reach out to me, DM me, myself or my assistant will happily get back with you about those things because I'm always looking for new people to connect with. And then if you are sitting here listening and saying, I need to get this together. Like I am not, I do not have a strategic plan in place. I'm not leveraging connections. I need to do more. I need to get myself out here. Go ahead and just say, help me in the comment. And then one of my team will reach out to you and do just that. We will get you on a free call. We will look and see what you got going on, where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do, and help you come up with a plan to do just that. That is completely free, no strings attached. So definitely, like I said, just put help me in the comment section, and we will reach out to you and get you all set up. Guys, with that being said, thank you for watching this imperfect talk. And I encourage you guys to, if you take nothing else from this, even though I shared a lot of information, take the idea of you don't have to show up perfect and polished, that you can come on and be yourself and talk to your community and still support them. Whatever's going on in your life, because as always, life will be lifing. Um, don't worry about it. Just do what you are meant to do at the level that you can do it right now, and everything else will fall into place, guys. All right. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. Remember, I rock, you rock, we all rock, and I will talk to you guys later.